All right, Shane, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Doing good, all right, you got a little report here for us?
If you want me to show you the numbers on the budget, yeah, I would need the keyboard and the mouse and I could show them to you. Otherwise, we can just talk about them.
I think we just talk about them. This
Okay.
is just a real light update, so.
Okay. Well, so far this year overall, we've used 18% of our budget.
Good.
Some sections we've used more than that. There's only one section that we've actually used more than what the prorated 4 months would be,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be okay by the end of the year on that one.
Okay, good.
As far as next year, I know, you guys mentioned that next year is not gonna look any prettier than this year. So
We don't know that. That's our gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, some of the projects that we're working on are kind of targeted towards that to saving money in our department so that our budget can take another hit.
Mhm. See how tight you can squeeze it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things we just can't cut. Like
Right.
Microsoft, they're gonna charge what they charge.
Yep.
Either if we want to continue using their products, then we just pay them.
Right.
No, that's right.
Absolutely.
But if you look at the projects that we've completed so far since May, really, there's a couple of them that saving us a pretty good chunk of money. We implemented a new help desk software that lets us remote in and help people without having to actually be in Montana City to help them or
Sure.
in Whitehall.
Mhm.
And we were paying about $700 a year for the previous software, and this software doesn't cost us anything.
Oh, really? Nice.
So,
That's great.
another one that we just put in last week or the week before was the new help desk ticket system where you can send an email to help desk and it creates a ticket. We replaced the previous one, which was costing us $2,700 a year. This one doesn't cost us anything.
Oh, wow. Great.
We set up and installed, we're still configuring it. It's going to be a long-term project to get it like we want it, but that Zabbix item there, it's a monitoring system that gives us a lot of visibility into our network and into our servers, and it sends us alerts if something is wrong. So like when we put a server into this Zabbix system, if there's a service running on that server that should be running and it dies for some reason, I get an email that says,
Okay.
hey, you need to look at this.
Nice.
As an example, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I was sitting in my recliner watching TV on a Sunday afternoon, and I got a message on my phone that said that the server room was on battery power.
Oh, wow.
And then a couple minutes later, I got a message that said it couldn't contact the printer over in the attorney's building, and it couldn't contact the printer in IT. And so I knew the power was out. And about 5 minutes later, I got a call from dispatch saying, hey, the power's out. We just want to let you know.
You knew it
But-
before.
Yeah. So that's an example of what that system does for us. Really helps us to keep an eye on things and be proactive instead of just reactive.
That's great technology.
Some of the other projects we finished, some of the larger ones, we installed the new Wi-Fi antennas and cameras at the fairgrounds.
Mhm.
I think Bruce had paid for those almost a year ago, so
Mhm.
we got them installed and set up. Those are working well. We installed the backup internet. I think you and I had talked about this already. I came in early one morning and we tested it at the sheriff's office, and when our primary internet service went down, the firewall automatically switched over to the backup internet service, and dispatch never even noticed it.
Oh, nice. Clean transition then.
Yeah.
And they run off that secondary for a while.
It was only down for a few minutes, so we didn't get a real good test, but we tested the flip over. So when the primary internet came back up, it's automatically switched back over to that one instead of using the secondary. Because the secondary it's got a decent download speed, but it doesn't have a real good upload speed. So it's definitely not as high bandwidth as what we have for the primary, but
Sure.
it works. At least gives us internet when the primary goes down.
You already signed it, Dan, you must be in the wrong place there.
Am I in the wrong spot?
Yeah, I
Right
think-
there? Okay, at the end.
here, yeah.
Oh. I forgot to look at that. Thank you.
Sorry, Jane.
That's all right. We moved the Whitehall Sheriff's Office to their new building, got them set up, and there's still a few things left to do there. Primarily the antennas that connected the road shop down there to the internet. The antenna from the old sheriff's office building had line of sight to the road shop.
Yeah.
From the new building, we don't. So we weren't able to reconnect that antenna. So our plan, we're waiting on the guy that owns the building there to get us an antenna tower on top of the building. And then our plan is when he gets that antenna tower up, we should be able to see the dump.
Okay.
We're gonna shoot a signal up to the dump and give them internet because we've been needing to put cameras up there too.
Great.
And then from there, we can bounce it down to the road shop. And then we may also bounce it over to the weed shop.
Okay,
And that would save her the internet cost that she's
Yeah.
paying.
that's great.
Anyway, that's kind of on our radar. We wanted to get it done before the snow, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Well, the way it's going, it might not snow until January, the way it's going.
We set up some new servers. Cody had purchased a new VMware host server right before he left. It wasn't configured and set up yet. He just had it there. And so we configured that. We've got some new servers running on that. I haven't got everybody switched over to using the new print server and the new file server yet. Your guys' commission share is on that new server. I'm gradually getting to all the departments and getting their stuff moved over to the new server. One of the primary reasons is because the old servers are end of life and we need to shut them down and get rid of them, get them off our network. So
We've waited quite a while now.
Yeah.
some of them are 2008, so.
Archaic.
Oh, they're brand new, still under warranty.
We've got a few other upcoming projects which are.
Carl bought them.
Yeah, probably so. Way back when.
I would say they're high priority cybersecurity projects. I can't really discuss a lot of details because we can't
Yeah,
divulge
right, yeah, I don't want.
details about our network, but
Yep.
we got a few of those projects that we're working on. Two-factor for the deputies. We've got the YubiKeys now. They came in yesterday. Because they have to, it's a new CGIS requirement that they have to use two-factor authentication on their laptops and their vehicles.
Okay,
So we've got 2 deputies done. So we're gonna have to work our way through all of them. The problem is some of their laptops were not joined to the domain, and so joining them to the domain means that we have to create them just like a new user, and everything has to be reset up, all their software settings and everything.
thanks.
So it takes, about an hour or an hour and a half per deputy when we can get them in here and keep them for that long.
They were using them outside the network before?
They're using a local account on the laptop instead of a domain account to log in. And so they log into the laptop. It doesn't check with the domain to authenticate them,
Oh, okay.
which has to be changed. That's one of the things that has to be changed. And so the other thing is we have to use 2 factors for authentication. So
I do too anymore, so.
yeah. And so they have to use the little YubiKey and then they use their password. We're hoping that maybe we can get facial recognition working well enough so that they don't have to use their password. But the state patrol is currently rolling that out for the troopers and they're having some issues with it. So we're letting them work the kinks out of it.
It doesn't read ugly faces.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Law enforcement people.
Um,
Sorry, Dan.
No, it's their disposition at that point in time, they need to go out with more of a friendly smile when they meet the public, right?
Offsite backup solution, we're working on getting something that technically, if we put a backup solution in the treasurer's office, there in the IT office, it's offsite to the sheriff's office where the servers are.
Right.
And so the other thing we need to work out is the offline part, so that if the network were attacked and had a virus, they couldn't get to the backups and damage them too. And so that way, if we have backups that are disconnected from the network, most of the time, they're only connected long enough to grab a backup and then they disconnect.
Sure.
That's our goal, is to have something like that there in the IT office.
That's great.
We have some other end of life stuff for our remote locations, the Whitehall location, the Montana City location. They're using some VPN boxes that need to be replaced. But bring them up to date on encryption, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all I had on my list. You guys got any questions?
Do you have enough help?
What's
Do
that?
you have enough help
Oh,
to get this all done?
no, we need 5 more people.
I think, looks like it.
Yeah, no kidding.
You must be dreaming, Jane.
Yeah.
I'll come work for you.
You can have some of the treasure stuff.
I'll
Yeah,
come work for him, just so I can have less pressure.
Yeah,
I guess what I was looking at, Shane, when I talked to the other commissioners is I've never known for sure of all the years I worked here. What entails your whole job? What is it that you do? I mean, I know you're IT, but what is it that it encompasses? I mean, because as an example, I see some of the claims come through and then based on the amount, I'm not sure what that's for. Is that for malware or what is it? I mean, it's some expensive, or is it a class you guys get or a download or? See, I don't understand any of this stuff.
okay. If you had a specific example, I could explain it to you, but
Well,
I'm not sure,
one
like
was
what,
2,000 and something, and I'm thinking, okay, what's that for? I mean, is it new equipment or new subscription to something?
that was probably a subscription
That's a
to
subscription.
our antivirus.
Okay.
I'm not
It
sure
probably
which one.
was, that's what I was
referred to.
wondering.
And
Yeah,
the equipment's usually paid for by the departments, so.
The departments pay for their own equipment, yes.
okay,
But as far as like the antivirus for the whole county, you know,
But
the
but
IT.
the
has-
servers and all that stuff, they pay for that. stuff.
Yeah. So as far as my duties or my job description.
Yeah.
So the director is supposed to manage the budget and making sure, like planning projects and making sure that we're working on the right projects for what the county needs. Making sure that we're working on the projects that help us meet the government requirements that we have to meet, like the CJIS rules
mhm,
and just basic industry standard best practices.
okay,
Because we're a small department, I kind of do that plus a lot of stuff.
mhm, yeah, no, I've seen that.
And Levi's position as system administrator is more of the hands-on, helping people,
Oh,
help
okay,
desk kind of stuff, setting up computers, working on computers when they have an issue, that kind of thing.
okay.
But there's a lot of crossover between the two of us as far as just getting things done.
And the other thing I saw, like when we were doing claims, on Verizon, it's still got Cody Jones on a bunch of those phones. Are
Yeah.
those extra phones that you have, or is that for a hotspot, or what's that all about?
So I just recently looked at all of those that have his name on them to make
Mhm.
sure that we were still using them.
Okay.
There's one that we're going to take off of there because it's a tablet and nobody knows even where it's at. It's probably in the trash somewhere. But we're still paying for it.
Hmm,
So, I think it was $30 a month is what we're paying for that one. But, a lot of those that still have his name attached are being used by someone else. He just put his name on them when he registered them, and that's why his name shows up on the list. There are some hot spots, that we still use that are tied to his name.
okay. But it sounds like you're on top of it, so you're reviewing it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. it was last month, Ginger and I went through that bill
Okay,
with a fine tooth comb and tried to make sure that we weren't paying for stuff we weren't
Right.
using. We do have some hotspots that are just sitting on the shelf.
right.
What happens, the way Verizon does it is kind of dumb. When we log into our account and we say, okay, turn this one off, we don't want to pay for it because we're not using it, but we want to be able to turn it back on when we want to use it. That is only good for 90 days. And then they automatically turn it back on. And if you're not on top of it and paying attention, you're paying for it, even though you're not using it. And so we found some of those instances
Oh, okay.
that they had been turned off before, but then Verizon turned it back on after 90 days.
Nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, good business on their part.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But if you ever see a request come across and you're wondering what it's for, you shoot me an email or give me a call. And I'd be happy to explain it because
Okay, you just did. I mean, that is a big one right there. Oh, appreciate that.
I have to say, I've got more than one, probably more than 4 compliments about your office, you guys in your office and how quick you're getting on things and getting things done, so,
Big improvement.
yeah, very, very good.
Usually big.
Very good, you guys are doing an awesome job, so
Yeah, impressive.
everybody's happy with you, which is unusual for any department in our.
In
county,
Jefferson
so.
County.
Nobody complains about us.
well, I mean, we're trying.
You're
you
doing
know,
a good job, whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons for the new help desk software and the new ticketing system was to help us handle things quicker. You know, if somebody has an issue, we can get on it right away. And if we can remote in and just solve it in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
rather than having to drive somewhere or walk even over to the sheriff's office, you know, that's time that we could be doing something else.
Yeah.
So,
And you're getting out notices on the fishing and all that stuff that's been happening pretty heavy here lately, and I know the government offices are a huge
Oh, it's
target
crazy.
right now.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's probably all to
It-
do with the elections and stuff.
Yeah,
but they're.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Jill Allen. Yesterday, you said it.
Jill Allen got 6 yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yours,
Yeah, one
yours
was
was just one of
me,
them.
and like, did you hover over that link? Cause it doesn't have anything to do with me.
They know the weak people, don't they?
No, Jill's probably. good.
I think they just blanket them. They just
They do. Yeah. they
broadcast
do.
them out and, you know, if it doesn't cost them anything. That's the thing.
Right,
It doesn't cost them anything to send out
try, yeah.
10,000 emails.
yeah,
And then if they only get a 1% hit
Yeah.
on those,
Then they're
they're
in.
still ahead of the game.
that's amazing. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of the DocuSign
I've
that
been
end up
able to
in
find
the
DocuSign,
in the,
Yeah.
filter or whatever that is.
but then I got an actual DocuSign from my insurance company. I'm like, "What?" And I go to my insurance website and I'm like, I don't see anything I'm supposed to sign, so I've kind of been ignoring it and they keep sending it. Like, I have to call them.
Usually if it goes into the spam, then I know it's fake. If it comes up on my regular email, it's usually legitimate.
No, I get them in my inbox.
Your regular email is coming in on there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Barracuda is kind of hit and miss as how good it is.
Mhm.
Some days it's good and some days it
Yeah.
misses some
It
stuff.
catches most of my stuff.
Yeah, it catches almost everything I have concerns with.
In fact, it catches, I don't even look at it, I just throw it away.
Once in a while, you get somebody's email in there. I try to look at it,
I
cause
don't
it'll
think
grab
about it.
somebody's email once in a while.
Well, we have had a problem the last couple of weeks. I've been dealing with Mike Myers in the sanitation. He was missing some of his invoices because Barracuda was grabbing
Grabbing
them
them, yeah.
and not letting him see them, and he didn't realize it. And so he was a couple of months, they're like,
Past
you're
them.
a couple months past, what's the deal, you know? And he's
Oh.
like, well, I didn't get any invoices.
Right.
Oh,
And so,
that-
I'm working with
that
him
means-
to try to get those particular ones whitelisted so they'll get through.
Yeah, that means Mike come with a budget problem, so.
Always
He didn't realize he had those in.
hope they're little ones.
Is there a new version of that? Because I went on it yesterday and usually it's accepted and you want it blocked. And it brought up this big list I can't even get into to accept it and then get rid of it. I was just wondering if it changed.
They did
format.
change recently. They changed the way that it works. When I look at when I log into Barracuda and look at the list of stuff, they're flagged by color, green,
Wow.
yellow, or red. The green ones went through. The yellow ones, it's put them in the quarantine, but you can click the link and say, go ahead and deliver this or whitelist it or
I was
whatever.
going to, but it filled up my cell phone and I couldn't get into the bottom of it to push it out of there. So that's why I'm wondering if I have to go on a normal, the computer with the monitor. Cause I couldn't do it. It used to be small, it would be in a display. Now it's
Yeah.
that big. So I couldn't get in to do it.
I think
To
that's something you
lock,
have to do on your phone, like,
I'm sorry,
I think you have to do some thought changes on your phone.
I have no idea. It's always worked before, but. So I just,
I like it, I like the new one, it's better.
All right, Shane. Well, thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
All righty.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
By all means.